Earlier this week saw the release of the second brand new ongoing series set in DC Comics' new Absolute Universe, Absolute Wonder Woman. For the uninitiated, the premise of these new books is to create a jumping on point for brand new readers, free from decades of continuity, with established characters presented in fresh, new ways that may also surprise and excite long-time readers. In my last video about this new line of comics focusing on Absolute Batman, I talked about the formation of this new universe, so go watch that if you want all of the details. But the quick and dirty summary is that the Absolute Universe is a new universe that was created by Darkseid, that was shaped in his image. Think of him as the god of this universe, although there don't seem to be religions built up around him. As such, the heroes are quite different to what we've seen before. They have none of the resources that the established versions of the characters had. In Batman's case, he has no wealth, no Batcave, no butler. Just his muscles and his mind, and a really big axe. And I really enjoyed this first issue and found some of the new ideas quite intriguing, especially the social commentary that comes about by virtue of Batman being an everyday man rather than a wealthy socialite. So I was equally optimistic about how things would go for the second series, Absolute Wonder Woman. The quick summary is that I found the first issue very engaging, and I'm quite excited about the storytelling possibilities raised in this first issue. So here are 5 things that leapt out at me in Absolute Wonder Woman 1 that I think you should know. First of all, there is no Paradise Island. For those that aren't aware, Wonder Woman was traditionally raised in a place called Paradise Island, entirely inhabited by warrior women. She had a strong support network growing up and was taught the values of peaceful negotiation and dialogue, and how to defend herself in the event that peace talks went wrong. Not so in Absolute Wonder Woman. No, instead, this Diana was taken away from the Amazons and raised in hell. Literally the opposite place. In fact, there are no other Amazons. At least, there are no other Amazons in Diana's life. It's not entirely clear why this has happened. Is it punishment for something the Amazons did or didn't do, as Apollo seems to suggest? Or is it Zeus doing his best to try to avoid one of those pesky Greek mythology prophecies from coming to pass? If you're at all familiar with Greek mythology, anytime someone tried to stop a prophecy from coming true, they would inadvertently make it happen. So that'll be interesting to keep track of as the series progresses. It's also interesting to note that Apollo doesn't actually seem to care if Diana lives or dies. He simply states that she belongs in hell from now on. So the second thing is, if Diana wasn't raised in paradise and was raised in hell, how did she get by? Well, she was raised by Circe. DCAU fans will know Circe from the Justice League Unlimited episode, This Little Piggy, where she turned Wonder Woman into a pig. Now you might imagine that a child that was brought up by a callous witch would have a difficult upbringing. But we see that Diana changes Circe's life as much as Circe changes Diana's. Circe initially leaves Diana to potentially be killed by a snake, but she becomes captivated upon seeing the infant Diana defend herself from the poisonous beast, and the pair clearly have a bond. We get a nice abridged summary of Diana's upbringing with Circe, showing how they worked together and enriched each other's lives. Diana even calls Circe Mother. The next thing I want to point out is that this is an all-out action book. From the very opening of the issue, the present-day story involves Diana defending Gateway City from the legions of hell, and there are some really dramatic battles. I also have to wonder about the significance of the city's name. Gateway City. The gateway to where? To hell? Maybe. Gives me some Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibes, where Sunnydale sat atop an opening to hell, which explained why so many supernatural creatures crossed her path. Now that's pure speculation on my part, but I could see that as being why Diana sets up shop in Gateway City. It could also be the first place she arrived at when she left hell. I find it interesting that so far each of the Absolute books has had their own theme. Absolute Batman is more of a class-based social commentary involving gang culture, and Absolute Superman seems like it will be a science fiction environmental story. I wonder if they chose having him grow up in Brazil because of their issues with deforestation. We'll have to see. Wonder Woman, meanwhile, is a mythological action comic, and it is cool as hell. Pun intended. The next thing to point out is that the comic has some beautiful artwork by Hayden Sherman. Now, I'm not massively familiar with his work. Apparently he drew Detective Comics for a while, but I have no memory of this, and I've been reading that series since 1992. But in this book, his art has a wonderful Hellenic quality to it. The delicate line work gives Wonder Woman an elegance that we don't always see. Often artists resort to cheesecake pin-up style, which is fine, but this seems more realistic. Well, as realistic as a book about a woman riding a skeletal Pegasus into battle with demons can be. And her costume is very practical. It's not like the traditional swimsuit style costume, it's more armoured with a fur cape. And that leads me on to my final point, and that is the fact that Absolute Wonder Woman is a witch, and a princess, and an Amazon. This probably shouldn't be too surprising given who her mother is, but this adds a new element to her character. Wonder Woman has always been in tune with the mythological world, but this is the first time where she performs actual witchcraft, and there are some very interesting possibilities here. I hope you enjoyed this quick run-through of the new Wonder Woman series. If you're interested in picking it up for yourself, well, the first print is pretty much sold out and going for silly prices on eBay, but there is a second print coming out at the end of November. I can also suggest picking up a digital copy from retailers like Amazon, and if you use my affiliate link, you have the added bonus of helping out my channel as well. Personally, I've always preferred physical comic books, even though they take up most of my living space. But you can't really argue with the convenience of having your entire digital collection available to you on your phone or tablet, ready to read whenever you feel like it. I've included my affiliate link in the info button above and in the description below. Have you picked up Absolute Wonder Woman or Absolute Batman? Are you enjoying those series? Let me know your thoughts below. As always, if you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, share the video with your friends, leave a comment or even click the bell icon to receive notifications whenever I release a new video. Every interaction helps to feed the gaping maw of the YouTube algorithm. I tend to release new video essays about the characters seen in the DC animated universe on Fridays, with bonus video essays about other DC animated characters, such as those seen in Batman Caped Crusader, on Mondays. And this upcoming week, as an added bonus, I'll be releasing a Halloween special on Thursday the 31st of October, where Sasha from Casually Comics and I look at the Batman the Animated Series episode, Moon of the Wolf, and the comic books that inspired it. If any of those things sound interesting to you, feel free to check them out. I've linked to them in this video's description. With all that content being made, can you believe I have a demanding full-time job as well? There is very clearly something wrong with me. I'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk about the third Absolute series, Absolute Superman, which also seems to be just as transformational for the Man of Steel as these other Absolute books have been for their characters. Hope to see you then.